EAGLES, Eagles.
Welcome in, everybody, to a Tuesday edition of Birds 365 here on JAKIB Sports. I'm your host, Zander Krause. That's my co-host, Johnny Mac, John McMullen. Another nighttime edition of Birds 365 for you here today, following practice number 5, open to the media at training camp. A hot one today, Johnny Mac and Vic Fangio day all clumped into one. How you doing on this Tuesday evening, brother?
Doing well. Yeah, glad to be in the air conditioned. It was a hot one today. So, but that's part of it. I mean, you mentioned Vic. He was asked that question. He was like, "It's not hot."
Yeah.
It's a mentality.
It's a mindset or a mentality or something. Yeah.
And they got to play in Tampa in September. We've said that a bunch of times, and they got to be prepared to play in this kind of weather. But a lot of water breaks, a lot of stoppages, a lot trying to get people through it. No obvious sort of heat issues. One injury, Terrace Marshall went down, which could be something, but we'll see probably on Thursday. But low
on camp bodies there, John. I saw your report as well that they I don't know what did they do with Danny Gray? Did they release him? What did they do with that?
Yeah, he's waived injured is what it's called, and if someone can claim him, but if they don't claim him, he'll revert back to injured reserve with the Eagles. So that's the most likely scenario. But and then from there, the Eagles will work out an injury settlement and likely release him off injured reserve. But that's
probably less about Danny Gray, right? And more about they need bodies right now in practice.
Yeah. I mean, Devontae Smith has been out with some back tightness. Danny was out with a finger injury. And then Terrace Marshall, as I said, went down today. So that's probably an indication he's going to miss at least some time. So at some point you need bodies for reps, especially at the wide receiver position. If you look at a training camp roster, any of them, including the Eagles, but any of them around the NFL, the two biggest positions will be wide receiver and cornerback, because you need so many bodies and there's so many nicks and tweaks and hamstrings and groins and calves and stuff like that throughout a camp. You just need bodies at some point to run reps. And the Eagles have gotten a little bit too low at wide receiver.
Yeah, good stuff there, John. Plenty to talk about today. We mentioned how hot it is out today. You said something pre-show. How was the heat today, John, at practice for the Eagles?
Yeah, well, it wasn't comfortable, that's for sure. But it's part of it and part of the process. And a bunch of guys are from Houston and Georgia guys and Alabama guys. They're used to practicing in the heat. But today was a special kind of heat down there. It was by the time practice and they moved up practice an hour from 10 to 9. So, they were over by 11. They had their longest practice of the summer so far, by the way, too. So they were trying to take advantage of it from a conditioning standpoint. So they just went right under 2 hours. And by the time it was over, I looked at my phone because I was making sure. We always, you always want to note the time, how long it went, but I wanted to see how hot it was. And by the time it ended, it was already, the real feel was 97. So, despite it being early in the morning, it got up there pretty quickly.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Jalen had another good comment about the heat. What was his quote today? Makes something of us all. I forget what it was.
That's not one of his. Fatigue makes cowards of us all. That was it. That's an old quote. That's an old. He
delivered it today. Yeah.
It's an old fighter's quote. That's an old, boxing that has since morphed into MMA. If you're fatigued, you could be the biggest, toughest guy in the world. You're going to get your, what kicked if the other guy's in better condition. So that's been the old adage in boxing for many, many, many years.
There you go. Good stuff there. Johnny Mac, let's start with the Vic Fangio comments, man. I thought he made some good comments, as always. I don't know if we're going to call him scathing, but a little bit of pressure on Adoree Jackson. I got the vibe from that. Before we get into any of the
it was as bad as other people. Everybody seems
I don't think it was bad, but I did think it was, hey, Adoree, I don't know. I thought it was like I'm not going to let you coast or anything.
I thought that was, I thought that was typical Vic. I don't, because I think the question was about his experience, and he does, he's got a lot of experience compared to everybody else who's here playing corner, but except for Parry Nickerson, but he's not really relevant. Yeah, but he did. Well, I guess, he did say the first few days out here, he was kind of like he didn't know he was out there. So that I guess is what started it. But, I think he's played pretty well. So but I think it gives you the imprint of where they want to go, and where they want to go is Gailey Ringo. So I think they're trying to tamper that down a little bit as well.
Yep, I agree. John, your overall thoughts on anything else that Vic had to say today, just your takeaways before we dive into some of the things I took away.
My biggest takeaway was that, I asked him about Cooper DeJean, how's it going, with the dual role. And he kind of said, well, he said it was going fine, but we just haven't, and he threw in, to be honest, we haven't had enough snaps out of it for him in the base defense, because the Eagles offense is primarily playing 11 personnel. And if you're 11 personnel, you're going to put the nickel in there. So he said, we haven't had a ton of base snaps up to this point. I'd like to see him get more and get him tested. I don't know if he's truly been tested yet with a hard play, which is kind of true, because I haven't seen a hard play at all for him. And then there was a follow-up saying, is that something you can coordinate with head coach Nick Sirianni? Because that's supposed to be the advantage of practice. You can script whatever you want to script.
Right,
Today was a big red zone day.
Right.
So, and he said, yeah, I mean, we'd like to be able to. Right now, we haven't been able to. I'm a little concerned with that.
What do you mean? I mean, it sounds like the offense doesn't want to work on that.
Well, no, it's not the offense. It's too little fiefdoms. It's like, Vic's not, and Vic has said this before, he kind of holds to himself. And it's like, all right, he wants to work on base defense, base looks, Cooper at safety, blah, blah, blah. You should be able to go to the head coach and say, hey, put in a period where, base, and that's that. It's pretty simple. I don't know. My antenna rose.
What are you speculating is happening that isn't happening?
Well, that's Vic's quotes, not mine. Vic said, yeah, I mean, we'd like to be able to. So the question again, is that something you can coordinate with Nick Sirianni? Yeah, I mean, we'd like to be able to. Right now, we haven't been able to. What the fuck does that mean?
It means right now the offense is working on other things that are putting the defense in nickel, right? Simple. Occam's razor, whatever the thing is.
Well, I think the simple part is you work on both.
Yeah, but if they're if they're playing one so much more than the other, then again they would run that one more. They're in nickel a lot more than they're in base.
All I'm saying is it raised my antenna. And
I like when your antenna get raised. I'm just trying to uncover.
I'm sure others it will be raised as well when it gets pointed out, because that was a weird thing to say. That was a really weird thing to say.
Do you have anything that you're speculating because of that?
The speculation is Vic doesn't share information, which is not really speculation because he's said it in the past. And, because I don't think it's Nick, to be honest. And
so you're saying if Fangio went to him, you think Vic or Nick, excuse me, he would install it, but Vic has never asked him for it.
Yeah, that's my fucking yeah. So, well, I know them both, and
is there a disconnect there between coach coordinator?
I think there is.
Okay, that's what you're speculating. All right, now I get to where you are. We'll see. We'll see what ends up happening with it. But speaking of Cooper DeJean playing multiple spots, Johnny Mack.
And by the way, I'll add real quick. I don't know what the big deal is because nobody else runs that kind of where you're going to put your base defense out there anyway. He's also on record saying they ran it 160 times last year.
Well, maybe that's why Vic never felt the need to go to Nick. He's like, I only run it 160 times a year anyway. I'm not going to, you know what I mean? I'm not going to go and
we can't have it both ways.
What the offense is doing to try and work on this if it's, a small fraction of what I do, throughout the year.
Well, he's the one. Again, it's not me. He's the one who said, I think it's going to be fine. To be honest, we haven't had enough snaps of it for him. I'd like to see more snaps. I mean, I didn't say it. He said it. No. So it's not me. That's what he said. And Vic tends to tell the truth. So, he'd like to see him get more and get him tested, is what he said.
What are your thoughts as we are through 5 days of camp, John, at Cooper's extended role there or a more versatile role in the defense?
Well, he says he thinks it's going fine, but he wants to see him get more and get him tested.
What about you, though? Do you have any thoughts on it or you feel like he's going to be
Well, he hasn't been tested at all. But I have no doubt he can play the position.
Yeah, me too. That's kind of how I feel about it as well. Good stuff there, John. How about his comments on JAKIB Campbell? Actually, did he make any comments on JAKIB Campbell today? I know he talked about his progress.
Yeah. He's I think it was a little bit. It's interesting because I think a lot of people have been raving about JAKIB Campbell, to be honest, and for some reason he thinks. He said he sees him making small strides, and he said it may not be noticeable to the average eye, which I think, if anything, everybody has been very positive from a media standpoint. But he's making good strides. If he can keep making those strides, I think he'll be what we hoped he would be, is what he said about JAKIB Campbell. Now, Zach Bond was out today, and so he got a lot of first-team reps next to Jeremiah Trotter.
Right.
But he's still on a rep count as well because of the surgery, so he couldn't take them all. So Smile Munden also got some first-team reps for the first time. So both of those guys were kind of thrown into the deep end of the pool this morning, and the first sort of practice start for JAKIB Campbell because Zach Bond got a back contusion in Monday's practice. So that was one of the reasons why he was out, because we speculated. Nolan Smith as well got a concussion because I talked about that on the show. It was weird. All of a sudden you see Josh Uche getting some first team reps, Patrick Robinson getting some first team reps. And, my initial thought was, well, they're just trying to manage him with the triceps. He's still got the brace on, but he actually suffered a concussion. So he's probably going to miss a couple days. And Josh was pretty good today, I'd say. Josh Uche, he's playing on that side. Yeah. So, but he's looked better than Ojulari, I'd say.
Wow, there you go. Because I do think that's going to be a decent battle, actually, for the back end of that room.
Yeah, well, they haven't really, cross-trained. It's been Aziz on the right side, Josh on the left side. And Patrick Johnson as well. So, but if Nolan Smith is not out there, you already get to see it. It doesn't look good. Doesn't look good on paper.
Yeah, what's up with the Nolan Smith concussion? How exactly do you get that before they're making major contact? Like, was it just kind of a fluke thing? Do you have any idea what happened with that?
Yeah, I didn't see when he got hurt. When he eventually gets back, we'll ask him. But no, I didn't. I just noticed he
was wearing a Guardian. He was wearing a Guardian cap yesterday too.
Yeah, but I mean, you can just bang your head and off the turf, and if you land wrong,
there is a general degree right now, John, too, where like they're extra cautious, right? Like,
yeah.
Like that's what I mean. Yeah. Some of it is probably a little bit overblown than what it actually is.
Yeah, I mean, Jalen Carter, everybody's, he's still not working in team drills. I mean, they're just going to be extra super cautious with star players. If there's anything wrong with them, Devontae Smith as well. It's like they're not gonna practice, nor should they. It's the way of the world in the modern NFL. You sort of do that cost benefit, which is all right. You don't have enough time to prepare like you want to anyway, so you might as well be as healthy as possible. The Eagles made that decision like 8-10 years ago, probably. So, and they're probably right. Because you have a limited amount of time, so it's more important to get as many guys healthy to week one as possible. Although, there's certain coaches, Vic being, like to practice. All coaches like to practice, but it is what it is.
Yeah, good stuff there on Jihad Campbell too as well. John, moving into those Adoree comments. I know we talked about him briefly, but I just wanted to dive into him for a second. I thought my take was he kind of threw down the gauntlet, saying it's time. I mean, Jackson said, and the quote was, "Show who he is or isn't." What did you make of that quote, John? Is it Fangio challenging the veteran, or is it kind of a genuine, maybe a genuine lack of belief in the player? What did you make of that?
Who are you talking about? I'm sorry.
The Adoree Jackson quote. The
show
who he is or isn't.
Well, I think it's one of those things where, like the same thing with Vic tends to push back. You saw it with Alex Hunt when all those sort of flowers came his way. I think the same thing in a different way is going on with Adoree Jackson, because I think there were a bunch of people that said, well, he's going to start. Kaylee had a bad day. So he kind of shifts gears and says, basically, this is the kind, you could see the kind of things, like when certain guys in Miami didn't like him, you can see this is the kind of thing where that festers up, because he's very blunt, and he's like, he had mentioned, his rookie contract in Tennessee, and they didn't re-sign him, and then when he signed with the Giants for big money, and they didn't re-sign him. And it was like, it was a curious way to go about it, but I think it's sort of that tough love thing. And obviously, he had mentioned the first couple of days, I guess he was not happy with his performance, and he's trying to light a fire under him. And some guys it might not work with. Hopefully, it works with Adoree Jackson.
Yep, we'll see about that. Johnny Mac, overall, any other takeaways? I did like the no excuses vibe that he gave on the Heat. That was classic Vic Fangio. But any other takeaways? It's always a fun day, John, when Vic Fangio speaks. Did anything we left out that we got to mention to the people? I do like to inform them because we talk so much about Vic on the show.
Yeah, I think he was a little bit kinder to Sidney Brown than he has been. So I think Sidney might be starting to win him over a little bit. I think that was a positive. And I think he sort of lightened up on him. I mentioned the coaching staff stuff, which kind of kind of shocked me. But and then Jihad Campbell, which I think if he's healthy and he's ready to go, I think he's going to get on the field pretty quickly. But he also said some nice things about Trotter's having a pretty good camp. I mean,
Yeah, I
he's
read
not
that.
doing anything. He's not doing anything to pull him off the field. So that's going to be interesting. You know, typically we're not worried about having too many linebackers, but it's a rare problem for the Eagles to have too many linebackers. But Trotter's playing well too. So
They got a lot of linebackers right now. If you're telling me Trotter's a legitimate NFL starter, or at least good NFL player, you know, it will be interesting to see. But I do think the Sydney comments are interesting, John. You think right now he's ahead of Makuba? Obviously, Makuba has missed the last 2 days of practice, so that's not going to bode well, especially for a rookie player. You saw what happened with Cooper DeJean last year. Vic clearly wants his guys on the practice field. Makuba has not been for the last 2 days. Is Sidney Brown potentially getting closer to winning that starting job, or how do you see that?
Yeah, I think, you know, he's doing well. You know, the defense played well as a whole today, big red zone day. So it's condensed, a little bit tougher to operate for the offense, but I think he's starting to open some eyes, and, you know, he's a very talented player. But, you know, he basically said he had no chance to play last year because of his injuries and learning the system. Injury, but you know, he had to have a second surgery. And he mentioned, you know, now he's starting to get it. So I think that's a positive for Sidney Brown.
Yeah. You think he's modifying his game a little bit to fit the Vic scheme, or is that just maybe a progression, maturity as a player? Because we did talk about a lot how his skill set didn't really fit what Vic probably wanted out of his safeties. Do you see that shifting at all through the first couple of days, or still too early to tell?
Still too early. I think Vic's smart enough he'll shift it to, you know, it's not like he plays just one way. You know, he's got a preferred way to play. And when he can't, I always bring it up with the front. You know, he wants to be able to stop the run. That's the most obvious for, I think, fans who watch Vic Fangio. You know, again, he rolled it out last year. If you rewatch the New Orleans game, he had some concerns early in the season. Could they stop the run against a team that was really dominating on the ground for 2 games? And he rolled out his 6-man front. He doesn't want to play it because he was concerned. So similar thing you'll see in the secondary if Sydney's playing. He's not going to play like he played with CJ, for instance. He'll shift it and keep working to get to the point to where he can have more of the coverage safety who can at least, you know, hold up representatively in run support. But if he doesn't have it, he'll utilize what he does have.
Good stuff there. John, last question on the Vic comments that he made today, and somebody else, another player who also spoke later, but that's Mac McWilliams, John. He really seems to be having a great camp early right now, the 5th-round rookie, maybe emerging as an option in the slot or somewhere in that secondary. What'd you make of Fangio's comments on McWilliams? Kind of subtle praise, at least I thought it was. And then McWilliams spoke later in the day. But what do you make of the Mac McWilliams beginning of training camp here?
Yeah, well, I think Vic does like him. He's got, you know, he mentioned he's got good football instincts, so that's a big thing with Vic. But, you know, as a rookie, he also said he's got to learn the finer points of what they're doing, and he's a little hit and miss right now. So, you know, there was some good, there was some bad, but when you have instincts and savvy, that's kind of stuff you can't teach, and Vic likes. So, I think that part of it is good. But, you know, again, you're not talking about a high level pick. You're talking about a day 3 pick, a 5th round pick. So I don't think he's going to be the starting slot corner in week 1. But I do think long term, it's a player that he wants to work with and will, help to improve. And, who knows, maybe down the road, you're going to see Cooper DeJean at safety and Mac McWilliams at the slot. But I wouldn't say it would be early this year.
Good stuff there, Johnny Mac. Let's see how it all shakes out. John, first day of pads today. What was the on-the-field stuff like? How did the first day of pads change things for the intensity of the practice? I know it was a hot one today, but everybody gets excited when the first day of pads show up.
Yeah, I love when Vic shits on people. He did that late because the favorite thing of everybody at camp, everybody does it for a living, is one-on-ones between the defensive line and the offensive line. Just fun thing to watch. And they didn't do one-on-ones today, but he got asked the question. And I'm trying to see. So how much do you weigh those one-on-ones in the evaluation process versus the team reps? So that was the question Vic got. And the answer was, me personally, I don't weigh them a lot. So I love when he shits on the mentality of people who make such a big deal out of one-on-ones. So, but that stuff, and you did get them with the linebackers against the running backs, which is usually a mismatch. Boy, that's usually a bloodbath for the running backs because there's so few that can pass protect. Montrell Johnson, though, rookie, but he's the best pass protector already, day one. He's out there stoning people. Well, besides Ben Van Sumeren, but I don't count Ben because he's
Ben's a little, that's a little different.
Yeah, and he used to be a linebacker. But
Montrell
he and Trotter
he made a play yesterday too, didn't he, Montrell Johnson?
Yeah, he's been good. He's been good. He'll be on the practice squad. Barring injury, he's not going to make the 53. But yeah, he's got some skill. And I was because it's so. I mean, I'll tell you what. If Will Shipley, if he's not on the field this year, that's the reason. He just can't pass protect at all.
Too small. I mean, I feel like he has the will, or the want to. I guess you could say Will Shipley has the will, but
yeah, I don't know. I usually it's just they're not asked to do it in college, and it's a difficult thing to do. And most linebackers are monsters in their own way. So it's just really a difficult matchup. But some guys are okay. Most of them sort of like tight ends. There's not a lot of great blocking tight ends anymore. And the thought around the league is always lose slowly. Like, we know you're going to lose slowly. When it comes to blocking edge guys, same thing with running backs. It's like, we know you're going to lose, but lose slowly. And Will's just not good at it right now. He's got to improve. But Kenny wasn't good at it early on, and he became competent at it. And AJ Dillon too, man. He got bulldozed at one point by, I think it was Dallas Gant, like maybe the bottom of the team, maybe the last player on the Eagles depth chart at linebacker. So yeah, that was interesting to see those one-on-ones. And there were some, and to show you what, to emphasize Vic's point, Anais Smith has looked great in one-on-ones this year. He's even beaten back-to-back days. He's beaten Cooper from the slot and one-on-ones. And then he gets into team drills and he does freaking nothing. And Cooper turns into all-pro Coop.
Why is
there's
that?
a big difference.
Well,
Because
yeah, I know
there's
there's a big difference
between.
But what is, one, why is Coop getting beat in that versus when he's in the team drills? And what does Anais do differently in that versus what he does in the team drills?
Well, there's a shitload of traffic in the team drills, and you don't have as much space. One-on-ones are designed for, depending on that, the advantage is receivers over defensive backs. The advantage is rushers over offensive linemen. The advantage is linebackers over running backs. It's just a natural advantage. That's why.
It's kind of
should
win
the
offense, right? Yeah,
you should win. And it's positive because from a nice standpoint coming off last year, it's positive when he does some good things in one-on-one, but to validate Vic's point, they're not going to weigh that stuff a lot. Like if you just, the best case of all is Joe Osman. I bring it up all the time. And you would, if it were about one-on-ones, Jordan Mailata would have been cut. It's not about one-on-one.
Right. Team drill is more important. John, a receiver I would have talked about, Elijah Cooks. You wrote an article about him today out of nowhere. You called him the rangy Eagles wide receiver is making some noise. I saw a couple other people talking about Elijah Cooks. We got to reference him here on the show, man. I don't think we've talked about Elijah Cooks too much. What have you seen from this guy? And does he have a chance to squeak in at the back of the roster? It's interesting there.
No,
no,
he doesn't. But he's fun. He's fun. It's always, I predict he's big, he's rangy. So when you talk about those lower level roster guys, you're going to make some noise. You always look at the big, tall receiver, and he's a big, tall receiver. And as Tanner McKee pointed out today, he plays like it. Like that's my issue with Johnny Wilson. He doesn't play like he's 6'6" and 220. Elijah's 6'4", 215. He plays like it. He uses his body to his advantage. And he's been making a play every day. And when I'm talking about Johnny Wilson, I'm talking about as a receiver. He doesn't use that size to his advantage. Like a couple days ago, it was either Monday or Saturday. I think it was Monday. They ran a corner route, and Mac McWilliams broke it up. He's 6'6". Mac's like 5'11". They might be giving him an inch.
Yeah, right.
It's like you got to play to your size. AJ doesn't. And that's what's been exciting. But he's been making a play. He made a play again today in the red zone, just at the back line of the end zone. High pointed the football. McKee threw it to only he could get it, and he got it. Thing quarterbacks are taught to do at the back of the end zone. So he's been making a play every day, but no, he's not going to make the team, potentially practice squad, but the Eagles are too good at receiver, as we talked about. Whether it's Terrace Marshall, Danny Gray.
Yeah.
And now Danny's gone because he got hurt. Who knows? Terrace might be hurt. It looked potentially somewhat significant. So, and they really want to keep Anais, and they really want to keep Johnny. So it's going to be tough for everybody else.
First big injury, big injury, but first injury kind of, John, that you hear about in terms of on the field happened today was Terrace Marshall. First biggest news of the day was probably that with the leg injury, which has obviously caused the change at the back end. Who they re-signed Ife Adehi? Is that how you pronounce that?
Yeah.
Ife Adehi. Third time he's been back. They let go of Danny Gray for now, and Terrace Marshall, I guess, goes into the injury category. What'd you see there, and do you think this really hurts Terrace Marshall's chance at making the team?
Yeah, definitely. I thought it was a long shot anyway, but yeah, and so definitely hurts his opportunity. Because as I said, if you're going to be a fourth or fifth receiver, you have to play special teams. He doesn't play special teams. So he was a long shot to begin with. But I do think that they would like to get him back on the practice squad and do it that way. But yeah, the fact that he's injured takes the small percentage, whether it's 10, 15, 20% down to, if he's going to be out a significant period, he might be going the Danny Gray route, in his case, they would just release him outright, but because again, you need players at that position to run reps in training camp. That's one of the ugly parts of football, is the sort of, the revolution of bodies. If somebody's hurt,
yeah,
you got to run reps. You got to bring in somebody who can run reps.
Yeah. They seem to keep finding guys that can somewhat play though, man. Danny Gray showed some signs. Elijah Cooks, Terrace Marshall. They seem to have a little more depth at receiver this year, John.
Well, yeah, they I've mentioned that a lot. This was the deepest group of receivers that they've had certainly in a long time. Certainly in Nick Sirianni's era. Yeah. But that's why you do all this work, and you bring in guys for tryouts, and sometimes it's not to sign them right away, but it's to do the due diligence on them in case somebody gets hurt, and what that player is capable of doing, or at least helping you in some way, whether it be on, the 90-man roster, or once the season starts, scout team, practice squad, that type of thing. That's why you do all that homework.
Yeah. John, talk to me about that Ben Van Sumeren Trotter Jr. little scuffle. I don't know if it was a scuffle or if you could even call it that, but they went up against one another. Ben kind of threw Trotter to the side. What happened with that?
Yeah, well, they had 2 reps, and Trot kind of won the first one. Ben got a little bit off balance, and then I think Hulk Ben showed up and he completely stoned him on the second one and threw him to the ground. To the point, that's another thing with training camp, is the first bite. We thought we might get our first bite, but cooler heads prevailed. They're both nice people off the field, so they calmed down. But yeah, it was a fun little sort of back and forth. Trot got the best of him, then he came back and stoned Trot, and so that's the old iron sharpens iron everybody talks about. You get beat on one rep, and you come back and you do better on the second one.
Yeah, I love it. It's good stuff there. John, the other thing is, too, Fangio had some good comments, actually, on Trotter. He called, what did he say? He's much more advanced, I think was the word he used. So I think that's good to hear, man. And you talked about the linebacker depth early. Not used to seeing that in Philly, John, but it appears they have it this year.
Yeah, they do. And it should only be getting better. I did have a little picture, Nakobe was working out pre-practice on the sled. He was pulling the sled. And everybody, well, he looks ready to go. The 10-second video, he looks ready to go. No matter how many times. That injury needs a specific amount of time to heal. Nakobe feels great. He's felt great for a long time.
A lot of people posted up that video you put up today of him running.
Yeah, he's not ready to play. And a lot of people ask, he looks great. Is he going to be ready? No, he's not going to be ready. That injury needs time to heal properly.
Still thinking like week 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there?
Yeah, I'm thinking mid-season. That would be my best guess.
What's best case scenario? 4?
I mean, yeah, I mean, 9 months would be.
Yeah, 9 months would be what, the end of September
October.
almost? Yeah.
October. Into October.
Week 4 is September.
So
End of September in Tampa.
I would say, October 10th, 15th would be the absolute best case scenario.
So week 5 or 6, we'll see. Yeah, week 5 or 6, good stuff there. We'll see how that shakes out. John, I want to talk to you about Tyler Steen. I saw some reports that he had his best day of camp, and even Jeff Stoutland had a comment on Tyler Steen that he had a big day, I think was what I forget the exact phrase that Stoutland used, but talk to me about what you saw from Tyler Steen and how he's making progress in camp so far.
Yeah, I didn't notice anything great, but I didn't notice anything bad. I think that's the best. Because Morrow's been having a field day with him most of the practices. I think the issue with the offense, the officials were there, actual officials. They were there this week. They have a meeting with us every year to talk about the rule changes, but so they're in officiating practice all week. I counted 5 penalties on the offense today. 3 of them were pre-snap. There was a hold. There was a illegal hands to the face. So it wasn't a great day for the cleanliness of the offense. But Stout is relentlessly optimistic. And, I told that Isaac Sayamalu story yesterday, I think. When I was, at the time, there were a lot of people, I was one of them, were saying, maybe they're going to move on from Isaac. And Stout was like looking at me like I had 3 heads. It's like, no, he's going to be a really good player. And he turned out to be a really good player. So I think that's the positive part. You can sort of spin his optimism with Tyler Steen, but I don't think he's had a great camp. It's only 5 days, but again, part of it's look who he's measured against.
I read he had a little not kerfuffle, but with Ajomo, like tossed his helmet or something. I think I read it in Ed Kratz's piece. Right. Ed had a great piece today, by the way. I got to bring up some of that.
Tired of getting beat.
Yeah, well, he said, I think he wrote Tyler Steen grabbed hold of Ajomo's face mask, ripped the helmet off the bull rushing defensive tackle. The mild-mannered Ajomo just picked it up and went back to work.
Yeah. Morrow. And that's part of the thing where I'm like, well, is it really Morrow's that good, or is it part,
right.
You got to weigh it.
Do they not line Morrow up on Dickerson at all?
Now, they don't move their defensive tackles much. In fact, Ty Robinson was talking. I mentioned that. I don't know if you saw Ty talk.
I did. I heard the whole thing. You had a really good question to Ty today. You got a good answer out of it. At least I thought.
Well, because I knew exactly what he was talking about. We talked about that play. I mean, that play was just so.
Yeah, and he knew it too, John. I mean, he went right to that play.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's very rare. And Ty's such a big, powerful dude. Everybody looks at him and says, well, that guy's going to be great. But it takes more than that. And so, the first question he was asked, it's, how are the first few days of camp? And it's eye-opening for sure, is what he said. Just getting experience, what it's like to play against NFL caliber guys and go against the best offensive line in the league. I'm definitely learning a lot through my mistakes and failures, he said. And then somebody beat me to the follow-up, and they went talking about Morrow John. I think it was Kerr, but come on, Jeff. So the obvious question was any specific eye openers, because I knew what he was talking about.
Right. Yeah.
And he got caught in a stunt, and he went outside, and he got caught with Jordan. And he just couldn't get disengaged.
He admitted it too, dude. He admitted it.
So he said, but to your point, I play mostly on the right side. They don't move their tackles a lot. So getting hit by Landon and Jordan, those are some strong guys, right? Imagine Ty Robinson and his body, and he's saying he's not even close to being as strong as Landon or Jordan. And then he said, I'm used to not really having to worry about being engaged. He just tosses people off. But I usually get my way off a block, and those guys are holding on pretty well. So having to learn how to be even more detailed and tactical on how to get off a block and how to be more violent and using that leverage to my advantage. So he knows what he has to do. But yeah, so 2 points there. To your point, no, they don't move their tackles. They don't flop them a lot. Now, Carter will be a little bit different because
Right.
when he's out there, they'll try to match him up against weak offensive linemen. But
Yeah,
he's a little bit different. But the other guys, they don't move him much.
I'm with Keith, man. I know iron sharpens iron, John, but it sounds like misery to go up against this offensive line every day.
Oh, it is. I mean, Jalix Hunt doesn't get near the quarterback. But the good part is
game day, John, and they're like, "This is a fucking walk in the park compared to practice."
They all say that.
I know. That's the good part of it.
Nolan was saying that the other day. He was like, it's like, and yeah, and then they get to the game, and it's like a little bit of a vacation for them. But the Eagles tackles are so good. And I throw and Landon as well. So good. And then Cam's not quite at that level, but still really good. But those three guys specifically, Lane and Jordan Mailata and Landon Dickerson, are just ridiculously good. And when it comes to power, Landon Dickerson and Jordan Mailata, forget about it.
Good stuff there, Johnny Mac. Keep rolling along here on the practice today. Ed wrote this, John, and this is why I asked you about Elijah. I got Ed's piece up now because I liked it today. It was good. I always read it, but some days I like more than others. He says, my belief is the Eagles will carry 6 receivers. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jahan Dotson are 3. My other 3 are Terrace Marshall, Anais Smith, and Elijah Cooks. That means no Johnny Wilson. That could change. He did hedge. He did hedge his bet.
Yeah. Well, remember what Ed's piece is called? Overreaction.
Yeah, overreaction.
Like Ed, because sometimes he rolls stuff off of me. Like again, I know it's fun to talk about all this stuff, and I'm the Vic Fangio of the bet, and I come in and shit on all of it. They can't play special teams. What is fucking poor Michael Clay gonna do?
I know. Well, they've stripped Michael Clay of every other thing, a guy on special teams.
No,
they won't do it again.
No. You have to play special teams. You have to play special teams. If you're going to be the 4th and 5th, and by the way, they're not going to keep 6 receivers unless, and he's a receiver in name only, they keep Avery Williams to be the kick returner. He's not really a receiver. Then because he's labeled as a receiver, then they might keep 6. But they're certain. I mean, Cooks doesn't return. Marshall doesn't return. They don't cover. They're not coverage guys. They're not gunners. Can't build a team that way.
Yeah, I get it. I wonder if they try and get a little bit.
But to the point of who's their 4th best receiver, Terrace Marshall. Who's their 5th best receiver through the first days of camp? Elijah Cooks. So I get it from that standpoint.
Right.
But you don't build a roster that way. And in the case of a guy like Cooks, you can just get him on the practice squad. So that's easy. And that's where he was at the end of last year. And I expect him to be back there this year unless he gets hurt. And then they might need a body. I mean, that's what happened to Danny Gray. Danny Gray did a great job. He was voted their best special, not special teams, their best scout team player last year. But I mean, if you're hurt and you can't practice in training camp and you're not a key part of the team, you're going to get waived injured, which is what happened to Danny.
Yeah, we'll see what ends up happening there. John, last piece before we take our first commercial break. Appreciate everybody being here tonight. Hit that like button. I'm going to get to the super chats. Appears YouTube has changed your guys' names back. I don't know what YouTube is doing. They keep messing me up. I mean, you guys are different names every day in here. I don't know why YouTube's doing that, but I do appreciate each and every one of you for being here. And I'll get to the super chats we have so far in just a second. John, how are you seeing the backup offensive linemen kind of shaping up? I know they have a kind of an abundance of players there, a lot of players there, but how do you see it shaking out? Ed wrote something about Drew Kendall today, kind of solidifying himself as the backup center, which is good. It's something that we've kind of been looking for a little bit. But outside of that, how many linemen do you think they're going to keep? And is anybody kind of emerging as a sleeper or maybe even falling off and looking like they're on the bubble?
I think Cameron Williams is on the bubble. They don't, obviously Howie doesn't like to cut draft picks, but they have so many draft picks this year, 10. It's going to be tough to keep them all. He's clearly on the bubble. You know, Stout talked exactly what I said about Miles Hinton. He said publicly, they think he is incredibly talented. But he's very, very raw when it comes to the fundamentals and technique. So he's got a ways to go from that standpoint. Yeah, Drew Kendall. I mean, still there again. You know, Cam Jurgens is on a rep count because of his back surgery, so he's not taking every first team rep. And when he comes out, Brett Toth comes in still, and they had a couple more bad snaps. Look, I hate to criticize Stoutland. He's just got the award for lifetime achievement. It's one of the greatest assistant coaches in NFL history. But boy, you know, Drew Kendall's so much better than Brett Toth at center. It's like, why are they wasting reps? I don't know. Eventually they're going to get there, though, with Drew Kendall as the backup. And they're also cross-training Trevor Keegan. You can see they're trying to keep Trevor. They like Darian Kennard a lot. This guy not a lot of people talk about. Yeah,
they got a lot of offensive linemen, John.
Yeah, they do. Matt Pryor obviously is now, they're cross-training both of those guys. So it's usually Matt Pryor at right guard and Kennard at right tackle on the second team. And it still is, but sometimes they switch. So sometimes Pryor plays right tackle and Kennard plays right guard. So he's trying to, in the case of Pryor, you already know he can play all these positions. But in the case of Kennard, they're trying to, you know, make him more valuable by making him more versatile. But I mean, everybody, and even you know, Brett Toth has difficulty snapping the football because he's not a center. You know, he can play left guard. He can play right guard. He grew up as a left tackle. So he can play every position, all 5 positions on the offensive line. Yeah, they got a boatload of players. And, you know, probably the bottom of the totem pole, you can argue Holland Pierce, who was undrafted, has performed better than Cameron Williams, who has not performed well.
Maybe cutting a draft pick. We'll see what ends up happening there. Good stuff, Johnny Mac. Let's get to some super chats here on the show today. Then we'll take a commercial break and we'll come back and kick it around in hour number 2 as well. Appreciate everybody for being here on a nightcap edition of Birds 365. JD3 checking in. John, here it is. He says, gave up on Bryant. Wow. 5 days.
Got to stay hydrated, by the way, JD. It was hot today.
Yeah.
So
John,
I apologize
drink as much as you need.
My vitamin water. But
I love
Yeah,
vitamin.
I mean, I
Vitamin
don't.
water is the one sugary drink I love. Wait, let me read this. He says, gave up on Bryant, all pro Ajomo and the mean green machine, Tyler Steen. 5 days, Jay. You're telling me you had a shtick for 4 months of the offseason and 5 days of training camp, and you've given up on him? Oh my goodness, Johnny Mac.
Yeah. By the way, it's zero sugar. But yeah, yeah, I mean, I warned you, JD. I don't know what to tell you, but yeah, he's not pushing Grant Calcaterra for the for the tight end 2 role. He's not even playing fullback at all. So your fullback dreams are dashed. And I don't think he or Kylan Granson or EJ Jenkins or Nick Muse, if you want to go all the way down to Cameron Latu, I don't think any of them have made any strides to say, we just talked about how many offensive linemen there are. They can keep 2 on the initial 53, get 2 of these guys on the practice squad and do it that way, which is what they did last year. And I think they're going to do the same thing this year.
Yeah, we'll see.
So he might be here, Harrison Bryant. But I would bet it would be on the practice squad at least to start.
Is there a better? Go ahead, finish up.
And it would be as the 3rd tight end.
Yeah, that makes sense. Is there a better chance he's right about all pro Ajomo than his previous convictions about what Harrison Bryant could be? I think all pro Ajomo is a big ask, but
that's a big ask.
There's a better chance of that happening than what he was expecting on Harrison Bryant.
Oh yeah, I mean Morrow's a good player.
Yeah,
I he's not going to be an all pro, but he's a legitimately good player. I mean, he's going to be a big part of this defense. Yeah, he's not going to be an all-pro, but yeah, that's way. I would jump on the Ajomo bandwagon over the Harrison Bryant bandwagon, certainly.
Yeah, good stuff there. MJ checks in. What's up, brother? Appreciate it, man. He says $10 super chat here. We appreciate that very much. He says, just showing my appreciation for the evening show. Have been missing the morning live and catching the clips at night. Thank you, man. Thanks for being here. And we're happy.
We'll be on tomorrow morning.
Yeah, tomorrow morning's our only normal day of the week. And then Thursday, Friday, we'll have some night caps as well. So tough schedule, but we kind of are at the whim of the Eagles and the other programming on JAKIB. So this is the only time we could really do it. So appreciate you, MJ. Thanks for being here, brother, as always. Dank Bird Gang says, how irritating is getting your question interrupted, John? I guess he's talking about
who?
I don't know. Is he talking about me or is he talking about the press? I think he's talking about the press conference, right?
Well, yeah. I thought he was talking about the press conference. But it depends on who. Like if Vic wants to interrupt me, that's fine. If you're talking about somebody trying to shout over me, yeah, those that pisses me off. But I do the same thing. It's very Philadelphia. Sheil Kapadia I probably told this story. Tells a great story. Sheil left Philadelphia to go to Seattle to cover the Seahawks, and he was with the Philadelphia Media Corps for a long time. And if you ever met Pete Carroll, very laid back, known for his particular love of a certain thing that certain people like to smoke. But anyway, so Sheil was used to being in Philadelphia. So when you're in a press conference in Philadelphia and you got a question, you got to go, man.
Right.
You got to go, or you're going to get beat and you're going to get shut down. So that's what he was used to. And it was one of his first press conferences in Seattle, and Pete Carroll was doing it. And Sheil just yelled out something. And Pete Carroll's like, whoa, what are you doing? And it was just because it's not that way everywhere else. But yeah, and Philadelphia, if that's what he's talking about, I don't know. But yeah, it can get difficult in Philadelphia.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
And it's also very intimidating for the young reporters who are, trying to get involved, which
dog
is
eat dog world, John. It is what it is, man.
which is it's not easy.
Yeah.
But Jimmy Kempski, I am proud, and Jimmy did. And by the way, I think he was wrong. Jimmy did. He ranked all the beat reporters. This was like 4 or 5 years ago. On who won the most face-offs in these press conferences, and I was number one. So I joked. So Jimmy, essentially what Jimmy said, I'm the biggest dick, by the way, because you got to be a dick to win those face-offs. But I don't think it's true, but he did put me number one. So thank you, Jimmy.
There you go. Good stuff from Kempski. Thanks for the super chat, brother. Abe checking in. What's up, Abe? He says, Vic talked about defensive players have to determine if it's play action, run play. J-Mac, could you ask Vic how much does Jalen have an impact on that? It's a good question.
Jalen Hurts? Well, or Jalen Carter? I don't know where you're going with that.
Vic talked about the defensive players having to determine if it's play action, run play.
No, it's Carter. They basically, the most fundamental thing he says you have to do as a defensive player is figure out if it's a run or a pass. So if you're talking about Jalen Hurts in practice,
yeah, he says,
I mean, normally, yes, but normally they're playing against other quarterbacks. So it's always, the other quarterback. The thing you're obviously in play action, the whole goal of play action is to make it, look like one thing and do something else. And that's what you have to do as a defender. Number one on the list is figure out, is it a run play or is it a pass play? And great play action quarterbacks make that really difficult. You've seen some of the ball handling skills of Peyton Manning and Drew Brees and guys like that. And, Jared Goff is a great play action quarterback now. And those types of guys make it really difficult from that standpoint. And Jalen is more of the RPO type stuff, but they're using more traditional play action too. But RPO has the same effect. Still the same thing. Is he going to pull it? Is he going to keep it? And the Eagles layered that to it's an extra because it might be an RPO and it might end up being, looks like run, maybe pass, maybe pulls it down again and maybe throws it again. So they go, because of the off schedule stuff, they can even take it a little bit farther. But yeah, Vic's belief, and he talks about it all the time, is the first thing you have to do as a defensive player is figure out if it's a run or a pass, which is very simple. It seems simple, but it's not easy when you have high-level quarterbacks.
Yep, no doubt about it. Good stuff there, Johnny Mac. Big thanks to all of the great people in the chat today. Thanks for all the love. We got another 52 minutes or so to play on the nightcap edition here on Birds 365. Hit that like button. Appreciate all of you guys for being here. We'll be right back in 3 minutes on Birds 365.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
The following is a real testimonial from the father of a young injured victim.
I didn't think she was going to make it.
Major Perry's daughter was the victim of a horrific accident caused by someone else's negligence.
If you don't find the right counselor, law firm that you're looking for, you will get lost in the wilderness.
Badly injured? Call the Fritz and Bianculli Law Firm at 215-458-2222 and find out why they say, "We got this."
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand.
Thank you.
We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your financial future is on the line. Are you ready for what's next? At Leone & Company Wealth Management, we help young professionals, business owners, and pre-retirees navigate the complexities of building and protecting wealth. For young professionals, we'll help you grow your wealth, plan for your future, and make the most of your hard-earned dollars. For business owners, we provide strategies to protect your company, manage risks, and create a lasting legacy for both your business and personal wealth. For pre-retirees, we'll design a plan to secure your retirement, ensuring you can live comfortably and confidently in your next chapter. Whether you're just starting out, managing a thriving business, or preparing for retirement, we're here to help you take control of your financial future. The first consultation is on us. Get the advice you need without the cost. Let's make your financial vision a reality. Take the next step. Scan the QR code to schedule your free consultation today. And of course, go Birds.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Thrill Seekers and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Welcome back in, everybody, to a Tuesday edition of Birds 365 here on JAKIB Sports. I'm your host, Zander Krause. That's my co-host, Johnny Mac, John McMullen. Programming update for everybody. We will be back in the morning slot tomorrow in a Wednesday edition of the show. John, what's the Eagles' schedule tomorrow? Is it just a walkthrough? No availability to the media? It's not a full day off, right? Just a walkthrough.
Yeah, just a walkthrough. Yeah, not open to us, so might as well be a day off for us. But we got to keep working too. So, maybe I'll walk through for 2 hours, 100-degree practice.
Yeah, we'll see what ends up going. John, I want to talk a little offense here in hour number 2. Would you agree or disagree with this comment? Kevin Patullo and the offense have had a slow start to training camp.
No, I think they didn't have a good day today. I think it was pretty sloppy, as I mentioned, and mainly the penalties part of it, which are going to be an issue. But that happens every year. And the officials, as I said, showed up, so they were being more. The Eagles always have officials, local people, but these were the actual NFL officials in this week, so they're being more sticklers on certain things, I would say. And plus, it was red zone. Again, I say it every day, and I'm probably going to say it every day, and people are going to sick of it. But today was a red zone day, heavy red zone day, condensed fields. They look great with the running game. They look great with the off-schedule stuff, with Jalen Hurts scrambling. Passing stuff didn't look great. And that's what everybody pays attention to, because nobody's tackling Saquon to the ground. Nobody's tackling Jalen to the ground. So everybody's hyper-focused on the passing game. That's not the strength of the Eagles' offense. Should be, but that's another story. That's not the strength of the Eagles' offense. They dominated running game. They dominated when Jalen would run a draw, as he does so often, or, he doesn't see something there and takes off. All that stuff was there. So, no, I don't think. And early in camp, the first 2 days, the ball never hit the ground. That's all we talked about. But again, the context, it was all underneath stuff. They weren't pressing the football down the field. So in recent days, they've started to do that. and it hasn't looked as good because you're not going to complete 95% of your passes if you're throwing the football down the field. So I don't think it's looked poor. In fact, I think individually, Lane's looked great. Landon's looked great. Jordan's looked great. AJ's looked great. Devontae got hurt, but before that, Saquon has been tremendous to the point I don't know why they're giving him the football so much.
Somebody hit him today.
So.
Somebody hit him today that they said he helped him up right now. Was it Trotter? No, who was it?
Yeah, I forget.
I think it was Campbell. I think it was Campbell.
Yeah, well, Campbell hit Dallas Goedert too. Yeah, he's got it.
Oh, no, it was Goddard. I don't know. Somebody hit Saquon, and then they helped him up, and people were like,
no, I think you're right.
Institute a no-hitting Saquon rule at practice. I'm like, guys, Saquon's that guy.
Some of those young guys get because he hit Goddard and he picked him right up, and he was like, oh shit. But yeah, I mean, no, I don't think they've looked bad at all. In fact, I think they've looked very comfortable. I've used that term pretty consistently. I think they're very comfortable with what they do. And again, when Devontae's out, you also have guys going in and out, like who's playing, who's not playing. Yeah, I don't agree with that assessment.
No, you don't. All right, well, that's good. Where do you think the discrepancy is? Is it Jalen? Is it just the new coordinator, kind of the rust? I mean, they've been off all summer. You know what I mean? Is it just that? Do you just chalk it up to that, or do you see can you pinpoint a problem? Anything you think could be bigger, extrapolated in the long term, or just simple camp rust early, John?
No, I don't even see that. I think it's just the context of what I just explained. What are they trying to do?
Yeah, right.
You know, it's not a game. But they're doing underneath stuff for 2 days and it looks great. And then it starts to get a little bit muddier as you try to get the football down the field. Today, as I said, it was red zone. So it's very condensed in the red zone. So that part, they weren't great throwing the ball in the red zone today. They weren't great on the first team. They did some things. Dorian Thompson-Robinson has looked better over the past couple of days. He's looked a lot better with the third team. Tanner McKee had the big throw to Elijah Cooks.
Yeah.
That we talked about.
I like listening to Tanner McKee too. I thought he had a good presser today.
Yeah, he's a smart dude. Like Stanford, you know.
I feel like Jalen's a little different in his answers this year. Like I feel like he's more openly complimentary of teammates, coaches, and play and other guys he gets asked about. Like even there was a question today about Tanner McKee. And I thought he gave a great answer. Like, you know, he's really developed, great guy in the room. Love talking with him, love his perspective. Hopefully he can keep getting better. I don't feel like Jalen did that in the past. Now, maybe I'm off base, but I do feel like there's a little bit of a different type of hurt in his pressers so far this summer.
Yeah, I've heard a couple people say that. He seems like the same guy to me. Maybe there's some to, you know, because he won. There's
more
not
confident.
There's not that pushback, but he's always complimented. You know, if you know Kenny Gainwell, for instance, he loves Kenny Gainwell.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't super glowing about Kellen Moore last year, John.
I never. I mean that the terminology stuff early wasn't about Kellen. It was just about changes. I don't think he was too harsh on Kellen.
No, I don't think he was harsh. I just think there's a small difference in his responses this year and his willingness to be more.
Well, I definitely think he's more comfortable with Kevin. He's been here for a long time,
right?
But he's got other layers. I asked him. He's got a new quarterbacks coach. He's got a new passing game coordinator, brand new. So he's still got that. I think, but I think he's more comfortable.
Yeah. I mean, here, Ray,
on the field and off the field.
Yeah. Ray says Hurts has always given his teammates compliment. I'm not saying he didn't. I'm just saying it seems there's a more willingness for him to do it this year. But maybe John's right. Maybe it's just comfort at the podium, comfort in who he is, what his role is. And obviously when you get the win under your belt, people question you a lot less. So maybe it's just chalked up to that. We will say Miguel Lara checks in. John, this is our longest standing YouTube member. So he's been a paying member for 37 months. What is that? 3 years? 3 years and 1 month. Miguel, man, thank you, bro. And you're still here. You're here often. I mean, it's one thing to just be a member and you forgot to cancel it or something. You're actually here. So, Miguel, thank you, bro. I appreciate it. He said, wow, I'm shocked Danny Gray got cut. He was making some noise.
No, not really. He, a lot of us, me included, thought he had a chance because a lot of guys were talking very highly of him. As I said, he was really valued as a scout team member. He was the guy who would basically play the opposition's best receiver every week and give the defense good looks, and everybody raved about him. He's a 4.33 guy, could run like the wind, but starting in minicamp, started dropping the football. If you don't catch it consistently, and once he got to training camp, same thing. Every day there'd be a drop. Marshall started to play better. Cook started to play better. And then they had some injuries and they need a body, and he got hurt. And that's just the unfortunate side of professional football. I mean, that's what happens. If you can't practice and you're not a big part of the team, you're going to get waived injured. So, if you were listening to the show, I mean, I said he's dropping the football. It's got to stop. But then, he'd still be here if he didn't get hurt. So, for that, I think a lot of people don't understand that rule. If he didn't get hurt, he'd still be here. They wouldn't have cut him for EP a DA. No offense to EP, but they needed a body to run reps at training camp, and he's not healthy. You're muted, Zander.
He says Eagles signed wide receiver Ife Adeye and waived Danny Gray. Who the F are either of these gentlemen?
It's like, well, if you listen to the show, you damn well know who Danny Gray is. And going back to rookie camp and mini camp, you should even know who Ife Adeye is. But, if you don't want to pay attention, that's fine. A lot of people don't pay attention to the bottom of the roster. But they're on the roster, so we talk about them here.
No, we definitely talk about it. I was just messing. But David Mack says, Barkley will break the Madden curse with an impactful season. Oh, David, John's going to love that comment.
Yeah, I don't believe in curses. So
Me neither.
He doesn't have to break anything as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, me neither. Good stuff. Brian Pumper checking in. He says, Tanner Inevitable McKee. Boy, that MFer can spin the pigskin. The guy has an absolute cannon.
Where's Pumper making these adjustments from? Asia, right?
I don't know.
Didn't you say he's in Asia?
Well, I think he's in Asia. I mean, can you honestly believe that? You know what I mean? Like, how the hell am I supposed to know?
Well, yeah, I don't. No, Tanner's fine. He's fine. He's not Brett Favre. He's not Nolan Ryan.
I felt like Jalen was going to say today at the end of his answer that he was like hopeful that he would get a chance somewhere, but he kind of cut it short and just said continues to grow.
Well, yeah, well, what do you're not going to say, hey, I hope I get hurt so Tanner McKee gets a shot.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, I know that. I was just saying it felt like Jalen feels like he could be a starter at some point in the league, not here, just at some point in the league.
And I think if he gets an opportunity to play a game or two, I think that's the case. I think that he will get an opportunity. And he has to play well. But if he does, Jalen's history is he's going to miss a game or two. If he gets an opportunity to play in those 2 games, let's say 2 games, and he plays well, but you got to play well. And I'm not talking week 18 where nobody's playing. I mean, meaningful games, but no, he's got a chance to be a very good backup quarterback. But from the arm strength standpoint, I think it's because he's 6'6", and I think anybody thinks, 6'6" guy, he's got a cannon. For a 6'6" guy, he doesn't have a cannon. That's how I would describe it.
No,
because most of those guys do have cannons. He's got fine arm strength, but it's not
nothing too good, right?
Not top of the NFL arm strength.
Underwhelming, is that a fair word to use?
No, I would say average to slightly above average.
There you go. Pump, thanks for the super chat, brother. I know you're a big Tanner McKee guy. Well, we appreciate that. John, I'm going to talk a little bit about the running backs. Saquon Barkley, you said, continues to get a lot of touches, but my question is more about the guys after. You brought up the please give me his name, the guy who's good in blocking right now. What's Montrell Johnson? Is that
Montrell Johnson?
There you go. Montrell Johnson.
Very rare as a rookie.
Maybe he's got a chance to make it. Maybe not. You tell me. Will Shipley's in here. A.J. Dillon. How does A.J. Dillon look? What are you seeing from the running back room and the depth at that position?
Well, A.J. Dillon's played a lot more than I thought he would. So I think the coaching staff likes him. And Will is going to be a part of this team, but boy, he's got to find a way how to get his pass protection better, at least to a serviceable degree. Otherwise, he's not going to play. So right now, I think A.J. Dillon is trending to be ahead of him, and he'll be the third running back, and Ben will make the team as a fullback, special teams player. And Montrell will be on the practice squad. That would be my guess is how that shakes out. But if Will Shipley doesn't pick it up in pass protection, he's going to have trouble playing on third downs. I mean, can't get the quarterback killed.
Yeah. Well,
So-
why'd you rule out Montrell so quick then? I mean, if you said he's the best pass blocking back.
Oh. Again, it was 3 reps and one-on-one drills, and on the same day where Vic Fangio said one-on-one doesn't matter. So, he'd look good in one-on-ones. But, yeah.
But Shipley's not. I mean, is Shipley's like unshakable, you think, at running back too? Like I don't know. Like I don't feel like that position.
No, I think AJ. I just said I think A.J. Dillon is trending to move ahead of him.
Okay,
but he's
I'm worried about the stingers with him, but we'll see.
He's unshakable on the roster. He's 100% guy. He's going to be here. Yeah, there's no question about that. But I mean, to be the backup and be what Kenny Gainwell was, which was the projection, he's got to pass protect.
Good stuff there, Johnny Mac. John, any other notes from the actual on the field stuff today that we missed or didn't talk about? I want to make sure everybody's got all the notes. Any big plays, any other players that stood out, sleeper players, anything we missed so far here on the show?
Well, I think the biggest play, they put the pads on, and it was a rep where an undrafted kid. It was one of those things where it was Darius Cooper, wide receiver. McKee made a nice throw over the middle, and he was streaking and was like, all right, nice play for undrafted kid, nice little story. And here comes Tristan McCullum with a thud with the pads on, and the football comes out. Which is a big play from Tristan's standpoint, but also tells you what pads mean. Even though they're not tackling, they could hit, they could stick their shoulder in there. And Darius Cooper's going to get an earful. This team's so concerned about ball security, but that was the biggest play on defense. And Tristan's kind of taken a step back from when Vic put him in that competition early. He's not getting as many first team reps, but that's to be expected. But he's another guy that they trust. And he made a big play today. So first time with pads on, and he was able to knock the football out.
Yeah, good stuff there. John, how's the depth back over to the defensive side of the ball? How's the depth on the defensive line looking? We talked about Ty Robinson a little bit struggling, but any other guys making any splashes or showing some signs in camp? The Thomas Bookers of the world and some of the back end roster guys there.
Yeah, well, Jalen Carter hasn't taken one team snap, so I mean the interior guys. Jordan Davis, Moro Jomo, Thomas Booker specifically have gotten a ton of reps, because Jalen Carter hasn't practiced. So those guys are all looking good. As I said, Nolan got the concussion, and boy, it looks thin. Edge rusher still looks damn thin. And you're talking about Ed. I remember, and he's right. Corner, you got Vic downplaying Adoree Jackson. You got everybody outside the building downplaying Kelly Ringo. Makuba's already hurt. That was a narrative. Like you're gonna play somebody who's listed at 186, and I think that's kind. And he's gonna play 17 games at safety in the NFL, and he's hurt in his third practice.
Yeah, I said that this morning, and the fans didn't like it, John.
Well, that's fine if they don't like it, but it is what it is. Third practice. He's already out for 2 practices now and counting.
Yeah.
So those 3 most obvious concerns have not cleared up even a little bit.
Has the chance of Cooper DeJean going full-time safety increased in your eyes?
Slightly, but not much. Simply because they still don't have anybody to play in the slot if he's not playing in the slot. So it becomes a, 2 for 2 thing. It's like, is it better to have Cooper?
Yeah, right.
And Mac McWilliams, or is it better to have Sidney and Cooper at the slot? So
I know Mac's having a good camp, but are we skipping a lot of steps with that? I mean, the thought of him, starting is.
Yeah, he's not starting. No shot. Vic kind of gave him.
He's the catalyst, though. In a way, he's the only way I could see Cooper moving to safety. I mean, catalyst for Cooper moving to safety full time if that ever did happen. You'd need him, right? I mean, that would be the only way it would happen. I don't see another guy would play slot unless they decided to move Makuba down there.
Well, I think Makuba would be the guy, yeah, because maybe he's better suited for the slot. But that's not in the. There's a lot of ways. I mean, in theory, you could put Adoree in the slot too and start Ringo. You could do that. So there's a lot of different ways you can go, but I think part of the Mac McWilliams stuff was Vic spoke highly of him, and he did again today.
Yeah.
But he also put the caveats on it today. Talking about, yes, he's got good football instincts, but and then a lot of people shut down and they say, "Oh, we think," and then he was like, "Well, yeah, but he's got a lot to learn." Essentially, so he gave him the compliment sandwich today. It was like, he's got this, he's got but, and then came the bad news. So he did both sides of it today.
Yeah. We'll see what happens there. John, let's run through all the battles real quick. Who had a better day today? Keely Ringo or Dory Jackson?
Well, just from Vic's words, I would say Keely Ringo.
Well, he spoke before, though.
Yeah, well, I think
the comments supersede any on-field play.
They did. They do.
Makes sense. I mean, if Vic tells you what he wants to do, man, listen to him.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. But no, he was fine today. It's interesting. He started, by the way. So if you're going the first rep count, Kaylee started. He got the first rep. But he got the first rep at left corner, and Quinyon was at right corner. So they're cross-training all the corners. But he was out there first today. So that's big. It's not, but a lot of people think it's big. And yeah, I mean, Vic said what he said, so I'm going Ringo today. And he didn't make any splashy plays, but there were no bad plays either for the most part.
We'll see what happens there. John, I want to go into a little bit of a different note here as we got about 24 minutes left to go on the show today. You spoke about it briefly earlier. Jeff Stoutland got an award for Lifetime Achievement Award. That was pretty cool to see, John. And I don't think, as much as he does get talked about, I still don't think he gets talked about enough, Jeff Stoutland, and what he's done for this team over the years. But just talk about that, what award that he got, the presentation of it. I saw the picture that you put out on Twitter of him getting in that award with his wife. Just speak a little bit about Jeff Stoutland and that award today.
Yeah, every year the Pro Football Writers give out what's called the Dr. Z Award. It's named after Paul Zimmerman, for those who know, longtime football writer from Sports Illustrated mainly. But and it's the award is for lifetime achievement as an assistant coach in the NFL, which is a role that doesn't get talked about a lot. Those guys don't go in the Hall of Fame, even though they should. That's for coaches, and now they put some executives in there, and Howie will be in there. So this is sort of, trying to give certain guys that kind of credit who've done it for a long time and done it at a high level for a very long time. So he was a winner of that this year, was a finalist last year. And well-deserved. I mean, he's the crazy achievements that he's had compared to where this team was before he got here is just insane. I mean, the number between Bob Brown, who is a Hall of Famer, played for the Eagles way back, and Stoutland, there were very few All-Pros on the offensive line in Philadelphia, very few Pro Bowl players. And currently the Eagles have had at least one Pro Bowl player in each of his 12 seasons in Philadelphia, which has spanned the Chip Kelly, Doug Peterson, Nick Sirianni eras. He's the first offensive line coach in the Super Bowl era to produce Pro Bowlers in 12 consecutive seasons. He's had 5 players earn 15 All-Pro honors, which is a big deal.
That's crazy.
Because it's very difficult to be an All-Pro. He's also the team's run game coordinator, which they set the franchise record for rushing yards obviously, last season. Saquon Barkley obviously set the NFL record for rushing yards, including the postseason. It was the 6th best rushing season in NFL history. Yeah, so some of the other people who've won this award are Jim Johnson, Howard Mudd, that people know from Philadelphia. But you'll know Fritz Shermer, Dick LeBeau. It's interesting about him. Probably won't do it today, but Adoree Jackson, that was his first defensive coordinator. He compared Vic to Dick LeBeau, who won this award in 2015. Monty Kiffin, legend. Wade Phillips, legend. Emmett Thomas, another legend with the Eagles, very short period in his background. Gunther Cunningham, Bill Arnsberger, Leslie Frazier, another former Eagle assistant, but went on to be a head coach. Last year was Bill Callahan and Steve Spagnuolo. This year, Jeff Stoutland. And I forget who the other winner was, but there's 2 every year. But, I mean, well-deserved. One of the great assistant coaches in NFL history. And he's one of the strengths to the point, it was funny. It's like almost unfair. Kelsey was there today helping the offensive line. Joe Douglas was there. Joe Douglas is back, but every day Joe Douglas, he's at practice and he's helping the offensive line. And you got Stoutland. So everybody wants to work with Stoutland. And then, of course, now, I mean, Lane Johnson's going to the Hall of Fame. Jason Kelsey's going to the Hall of Fame.
Could maybe make an argument Mailata could be on that trajectory. I know he's lacking.
Yeah, I mean, Landon as well, but they're a little bit too young in their careers. But of all the things we talk about with the Eagles, I try to do it. The strength of the Philadelphia Eagles is their offensive line. Everything else lines up behind their offensive line.
And that's how you win games in the NFL, John. It's a good way to be.
Yeah. And that's what everybody should be copying. But they don't, because it takes years and years and years to build what the Eagles have built.
And a lot of good decisions.
Yeah. And a lot of player development as well. Because, I'll bring up Isaac again. 95% of teams would have gave up on Isaac Seumalo. And I guarantee you 95% of the teams would have already moved on from Tyler Steen.
It's true.
And I'm not saying Tyler Steen's going to become Isaac Seumalo, but I am saying even I don't think it's going to happen personally. I'll also say Jeff Stoutland deserves the benefit of the doubt over me.
Yeah, right.
I don't have that big of an ego. So
crazy, man. The accolades that you just rattled off, though, are pretty damn impressive for sure for this team. So good stuff there. Congrats to Jeff Stoutland on winning that award. I don't know, how much does that award mean for him? Probably not too much, or what? I guess not much.
Yeah, man, it might quite a bit. I mean, he talked. I put the clip up too, the video clip of him giving sort of a little speech to us, the writers. Yeah, I mean, no, it means a lot to him. But he's quick to turn and give all the praise to the players. But he downplays his. To me, the stuff Fred Johnson, and I wrote about it at the time. To me, is the best story of Jeff Stoutland, who was not even close to being his best player. But Fred admitted that he was in a dark place when he got to Philadelphia. He thought he was treated unfairly in Cincinnati and Jacksonville. No, he's in Jacksonville now, but was treated unfairly in his career. And he came to Philadelphia and he just wanted to pick up his paycheck and go home, hold the bag and go home. And he would, coach Fred Johnson the same way he coached Lane Johnson, as a starter. And Fred would say, just leave me alone. And he wouldn't stop, and he wouldn't stop, and he broke through. And, he got a chance to play last year on a Super Bowl team.
Yep.
And he played, and he held down the fort for Jordan Mailata.
I'm actually going to miss Fred. I liked Fred, John.
Yeah, he's a good dude. But he was in a bad place when he got here. And, I asked Stoutland about it because he said these nice things. And I asked Jeff if he heard it. And he said he didn't hear it, but, and he explained some of these guys, nobody's ever believed in them. And, that's the first part of it. So coaching, to be a coach, you got to be relentlessly optimistic. A lot different than what I do. I could never do it. Lot different than what most fans think.
I think you got to be optimistic, but you got to be truthful too, John. I think you got to be truthful.
Do. I mean, hey,
like Andre Dillard, you know what I mean? Like he's
hard. He's hard on people, man. He is hard, and he does not. When I say coaching, he coaches them hard.
Well, that's part of it too. Knowing what each player can take and what they can't take. I think at least there's an element to that, to understanding your players.
But no, not everybody. I mean, yeah, you can point out nobody's batting 1,000. So obviously Andre Dillard, I don't think he's going to be able to reclamate Kenyon Green. And Lane Johnson would have been a great player no matter where he went, but he wouldn't have been this great. You do have to have that level, but that's coaching. You can't turn somebody who doesn't have talent into Lane Johnson, but you can get them a little bit better than where they would have went on their own. Yep. And that's what he did with Fred Johnson. And that's the goal of a great coach.
Yep. Great stuff, man. Congrats to Jeff Stoutland, and we are honored and happy to have him here in Philly. He's been a major part to the success of this football team, without a shadow of a doubt. Good stuff there. John, final exercise of the day today. Appreciate it. Appreciate everybody for being here. Appreciate you, Johnny Mac, for the hard work you're putting in at training camp. I know all the people appreciate the insight as well. John, I want to run through some winners and losers so far. I know we don't have to make grandiose proclamations about any of them, but some people trend up, some people trend down, and we're now through 5 days that you've been at the NovaCare Complex for practice, John, of training camp. Let's start with the losers. Any clear losers in your eyes, just from a sense of not trending the way you would have hoped they would trend to start off camp this year?
Danny Gray. There's certain Avery Williams has not looked good. Trying to run down the list of players.
Any guys closer to the starting lineup that would be in that list?
No, but there's no spots open. I mean, we talked about
Makuba. A Ringo. A guy like that.
Well, no, I think there's, and that's why I brought up what Ed wrote the other day. There's been no movement on the clearing up of edge rusher, cornerback, or safety. Sydney's playing better, but there's a guy who's trending upward because he's clearly better than Drew at this stage. But
that'll be a feather in Brian Pumper's cap, John.
But is he a fit, to where, Vic's not going to want Makuba on I think the injury helps Sydney, obviously. The more time he misses. I thought Adoree was doing fine, but then Vic threw some cold water on that today.
Vic shot down your
I think
on Adoree.
I think maybe he kicked his dog. I don't know, but I think he wants to stop. I think there was way big of an overreaction to Ringo getting, roasted by AJ Brown. Oh, God forbid.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think there was way too much of an overreaction to that. But this is a very boring team from the standpoint of so many guys are locked into their jobs. There's not a ton of guys. Like there's not some surprise. Oh, he might beat out Dallas got it. Harrison Bryant might beat out Dallas got it.
It's fucking nobody when you look at there's like barely any possible changes at any of these positions. I mean, maybe there's some changes at the starters and stuff, but
injuries. Right. But I mean, there's no, and even the competitions are clearly defined. It's basically going to be Ringo or Jackson. It's going to be Sydney or Makuba, and it's going to be, the edge remains the biggest question mark. Because, the history says how he's going to make a trade in August. He's made a trade in August 4 consecutive years. He's going to make a trade. And I still think it's edge more than anything else.
Yeah, we'll see. You mentioned that Uche looks better than Ojulari. I thought that was an interesting tidbit.
Yeah, but it might be because he got first-team reps because Nolan was out.
Well, why wouldn't Ojulari get him?
Well, he doesn't play. They haven't switched sides at all.
Oh, right. So Uche's on that side. Ojulari's on the other side behind Jokes.
Yeah.
Why do they not switch him? Do you think it's a player tendency thing? Is it a player preference thing? Is it a coach preference thing? Or ideally, do you want them to all be able to play on multiple sides? I know like Josh Sweat didn't move much, but it's not entirely uncommon for edge rushers to switch sides.
No, but it has been uncommon here.
Yeah, it's true.
There's a lot of guys who move around. Like they're moving the corners all over the place. They started out with Ringo on the left corner, Mitchell on the right corner, and then by the third snap, it was Mitchell on the left corner and Adoree Jackson at right corner. They're moving those guys. Ringo's played both sides. Rick's plays both sides. Everybody plays both sides. At edge, it's been just Nolan Smith, Josh Uche, O'Shawn Mathis, Patrick Johnson, Patrick ahead of O'Shawn on the left side. And the right side's been Jalix, Aziz, and Antoine Powell-Ryland. Will he move them at some point? Maybe, but it hasn't happened yet.
Good stuff there, Johnny Mack. And then in the winner category, I feel like one clear winner for me would be Quinyon Mitchell. Again, I'm not there, so I can't really speak on watching it. But just from hearing about it, I mean, I loved his answer on playing the left side versus the right side. He's like, oh, no different for me. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. Most people do give a shit. I think Quinyon's a clear winner early in camp. You got any winners, John? Clear winners for the Eagles so far?
Well, yeah, it's funny because you say, a lot of the offensive players have played well, a lot of the stars. Defensively, I think Quinyon's one of them. It's interesting because, I think the narrative is the defense is playing better than the offense, but individually, I think clearly the offensive players have played better than the defensive players. So it's a weird dynamic. It's weird. It's very weird. But if you ask me who the best defensive players have been at camp, I would say Quinyon, Morrow, and Cooper.
Quinyon, Morrow, and Cooper. Those are good three.
Boy, well, and Zach, I forgot about Zach Bond, and Zach throws Zach in there as well before he got hurt. So those offensively, like all the individual, Barkley's played great. Jalen's played great. AJ's played great. Devontae, Dallas has been unbelievable. Linebackers did a nice job today, but that's the first time they've done anything against Dallas Goedert. And he still catches it. They're just in coverage better. Jordan's been unbelievable. Landon's been and Lane's been unbelievable. So I'm like, what's everybody talking about? I don't know. Like Nolan's literally out there saying, I can't get near the quarterback. Alex is out, says it all the time. I can't get near the quarterback. Now Morrow's gotten near the quarterback. Yeah, I don't understand where that narrative is coming from, other than training camp stats.
Yeah, right. All right, good winner so far, John. We'll see, man. I'm excited about Moro Jomo. Quinyon, obviously, I love Quinyon's mentality. I think it was Jalen today who said I'm one of his biggest fans. I think he said about Quinyon Mitchell. So I thought that was a pretty good comment from QB1. A little bit.
Quinyon's got the perfect cornerback mentality.
Yeah, he does.
He doesn't. He's got a short memory, and he doesn't give a you know what.
He really doesn't. He's funny, man. He's a funny dude. Quinyon, I love it. I'm happy he's here in Philly. And then Cooper DeJean obviously continues to impress, John. Boy, what effing home runs right now it looks like the Eagles hit in the draft last year.
Yeah, that Cooper injury, knocking him to 40. And the Eagles traded up. They deserve credit to get him.
Injury. I don't give a shit. He's in Philly now, and I got a feeling he's going to be in Philly for a long time, Johnny Mac.
Yeah, he's a great player. It's just a matter of where he's going to end up and what song they're going to write about.
Wait a second. Imagine if Jalen Hunt can contribute in a meaningful way this year, and Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is good in the role that he's asked to play in this year. I mean, last year's draft is going to look scary good if those two guys can pan out.
Yeah, Howie's on quite a run.
Yeah, man. Did you hear the Jalen comment today about that?
No.
They asked Jalen, like, what do you appreciate the most about Howie Roseman?
I
appreciate the conversations that we have and, and encouraging him SEC. I'm like, oh, boy, Jalen taking a little bit of credit.
Yeah, a lot
I don't know how he will like that.
Well, he has a lot of Alabama, a lot of Georgia. Yeah. He has done that. Sometimes just take the players from the best team. It's not a bad idea, although that's not Alabama anymore. Nick Saban ain't there anymore.
Oh man, don't get me started on that. I don't want to talk about them guys right now. All right, I don't like the new coach, but they're now like being preseason ranked in the top 5, so they might have a good season. We'll see.
I'm sure they have a ton of talent, but he ain't Nick Saban. I'll tell you that.
No shit, John. No freaking shit, man. We'll see what happens with him. Johnny Mac, your final thoughts on a Tuesday edition, and you're lucky enough to talk to my ass in 12 hours from now, 8 a.m. on Birds 365. Your final thoughts tonight, brother.
My final thoughts, as it's been a long day and I got to go hydrate some more because it was pretty hot today.
Get another vitamin water. If I'm drinking sugar juice, John, I'm drinking vitamin water.
It's not sugar juice, 0 sugar.
Oh, you got the 0. All right, 0 sugar. There you go. Even better, Johnny. I do like vitamin water, man.
I do not buy the sugar ones.
Yeah, too much sugar in the sugar drinks. It's like, dude, I'm 50 grams in one drink. It's like, all right, that's a little overdone. Did it need to be that sweet? I don't know. But
I gave a free plug. I love lemonade vitamin water, but the zero sugar.
There you go.
For some reason, I love it. So if they want to sponsor us, I think
are they owned by Pepsi or something? They might be owned by Pepsi. I gotta look. We'll see. Maybe I'll reach out to him. My guy Johnny Mac. He needs some vitamin water, sugar free. Get him in there. Lemonade. Yeah. Good stuff, J Mac. I'll catch you in the morning, brother.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thanks, John. There's Johnny Mac. John McMullen. Great work from him today, and another great day of practice for the Philadelphia Eagles. Day 5 in the books as we continue to roll along in training camp. Everybody, before we know it, the season's gonna fuck fucking be here, baby. The season is going to be here before we know it. All right? Man, I'm fired up. I'm ready to go. Okay? I'm ready to go. Got to go feed. Go feed the animals, Twiz. Thanks for being here, big dog. Have a good night, brother. Appreciate you, brother. I don't know, Texas T. Everyone's like, it doesn't surprise me at all. By the way, he's got a lot of cars. I'm sure he's got a lot of cars. I know he's got the BMW M8. That Texas T, that's like my dream truck, that truck he was driving. Although I think I might like the Raptor R a little more nowadays. But, yeah, Jalen rolling up in the Ram TRX. People are like, he drives a Ram. I'm like, that ain't no base Ram right there, man. That thing is 770 horsepower. That thing will dust your Camry. That thing will dust any Nissan Altimas on the road, man. Oh, you didn't see it, 18? You want me to pull it up? Let me pull it up. I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up. Jay Hurts showing some love, man, to one of the young fans. I love Hurts' mentality, man. He's awesome. He's awesome. He really is, man. I think he's such an awesome. I just like the way he carries himself. You know, I like the way certain people carry themselves. Some people carry themselves like shit, and some people carry themselves the right way. Jalen Hurts carries himself the right way. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about that. All right? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that, man. Ram is are they dirty air? That's interesting. I did not know that. You know, I'm kind of been off the Mopar wave right now. I mean, I had the Ram. I loved it. The Hemi's a great motor. They got rid of the Hemi 1 year. Sales go down. Now they bring the Hemi back. It's like, yo, Stoutland CEO, take your head and get it out of your ass. I mean, they make a Challenger and a Charger with an electric motor. I'm like, oh yeah, that's gonna sell to the Charger and Challenger crowd. I mean, what? Sometimes I don't get what these CEOs think, but I think it's all government stipulated. Honestly, I think they all do it to try and meet the emission standards or whatever the hell they're trying to do. All right, here's the video. Look at Jalen Hurts rolling up. I don't want to play the audio here. So there's Jalen's truck rolling up. That's a Ram TRX right there, folks. And then he rolls the video down. Look at the window down. There he is. There's Jay Hurts in the Ram. I tell you what, I love my Corvette, guys, but I miss my freaking truck. I need a truck bad. I am in the market. Look at that truck. That's a mean truck, bro. That's a mean truck. That's a mean truck. Love those trucks, man. I wanted one for the longest time. You know what you're at? You know what your average? It's the same motor, chip season. Hellcat motor in that thing. You know what your average gas mileage is in that thing, chip season? Probably 5, 6, 7 miles to the gallon. No joke. You don't even have to drive that thing hard to get 7 miles to the gallon in that thing, man. Big V8, big supercharger on that thing, man. You got to be kidding me. Texas T, I knew you liked the truck. You got to like the truck, right? Yeah, Dirty Air. We'll see. I'm optimistic. We got a lot of fun things coming in the future with Dirty Air. I like what Spire is doing with F1 and trying to get involved with Cadillac and everything. Dirty Air, they're winning me over, man. GM is winning me over from an American standpoint. They're getting involved in all NASCAR. Obviously, they've been involved in NASCAR for a long. They're pushing into F1. They're making insane, Corvettes. The ZR1, the ZR1X are just nuts. I mean, I love what GM is doing. They're really pushing, and I appreciate that. I mean, Ford doesn't. I mean, they got a Mustang. That's it. That's all they got. They don't even have a Shelby anymore. They didn't even make the new Shelby yet. Yo, Ethan, I will block you and nobody will ever remember you existed in this chat. Shut your mouth and move on, Ethan. You got me? All right, good. Fucking A. Yeah, they are, man. It's impressive, Gary. I like what they're doing a lot. All right. Curtis says, it's hard to imagine Jalen failing because of how he carries himself. Curtis, that is such a good take, man. That is such a good take. That is so true. I think that sums him up. You can maybe wonder about certain areas of talent. You can wonder if he can do this better than other quarterback. But one thing you just never doubt with the guy is that he has the mindset, the mentality, and the approach needed to achieve greatness. That's not a guarantee he'll achieve it, but you fucking know, man, that he has that check. That box is checked. Yeah, I don't even spend 1 second doubting that part. Not 1 second. That's a good thing, man. All right, Ethan, that's a weird comment. I don't want heart. Yo, save the heart eye emojis. Fucking weird. Tony, Big Z roasting and I did do some roasting this morning, man. I was roasting this morning. Sakunda, you are. He goes, the swastika. You got to be kidding me with that, man. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Ethan, you're done for the day. Ethan, get out of Dodge. All right, maybe I'll catch up with you tomorrow. Ethan, move it on. Move it on. Come on, man. Yeah, well, I was roasting that dude. I mean, the dude's got a fucking DM. I got the receipts. I wish I showed it in real time. I had the receipt. This dude's you in the chat. You're this and you're a manipulator and you're daddy's boy. I'm like, all right, bro. You were glazing me in my DM about 6 months ago. What up, Rich? Who you calling dork, you dweeb? What you calling dork? Rich comes in here like his shit don't stink. Rich, what's going on your end, huh? What's giving you this false sense of confidence, Rich? You know I love you, brother. Appreciate you being here. Yeah, my brother got me this. I didn't go, man. I'm not cool enough to go. My brother's got the connections at places like the Masters. I'm good with a T-shirt and the hat he got me. I'm good with the T-shirt and the hat. I'm not really big on like stuffy places. You know, I don't really care for like golf is cool, but I don't really care for stuffy country clubs. Like people like, you know, you got to be a certain way around here. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I know I'm not knocking it. I know it's cool. I know people appreciate it and stuff, but like I would never spend my time trying to get accepted at a country club. Like I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. I'm not really big on the on stuffies. Slager says, I mostly wear polos, but I might break into Z's house and steal that shirt. Slager, if you like this shirt that much, I'll give you it. If you like it that much, Slager, I'll take this bitch right off my back and send you it. Look, I got this from Slager. All right, look at this. Put those papers over here. Now, this is from my boy Slager. So, see that? This is from the stadium at New Orleans where the Eagles won the Super Bowl. It's one thing to get a towel. It's another thing to be sent one by one of your great supporters who was at the game in NOLA. Like, that's cool. Slager was there. He thought of me. I mean, Slager, I appreciate that, dude. I still got this in my office. I look at it every day. I fucking think of you. So I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that very much. That's why I said I'd take the shirt off my back for you, dude. Thank you, bro. Thank you. Yeah, really cool, right? Hollywood? Really dope. And he also got me this. See, I keep everything. I got Philly Don's thing. I showed you guys that yesterday. Sasha, I got your note right here. Let me get this out. This is a tough one to get out of my stack. Now I'm knocking shit over. You gotta be kidding me. I'm knocking shit. I'm making a mess. I'm making a freaking mess over here. Also got the game book right from the stadium, man. Look at that. So Slager sent me this in a package, and I was very appreciative of that. I thought that was really cool. I thought that was really pretty cool. So Slager, thank you, bro. You're a good dude, and I appreciate that very much. I hope you know I appreciate it, as always. Those are sick. I got one from the division game. Yeah, they're dope, man. They're dope. Let me get that, Zan. Fredo, what do you want, bro? You want the shirt? What do you want? Come on, let me know. I'm a man of the people. What do you want? Thanks, man. Appreciate you, Slag. Appreciate you. Very cool of you to do. Master says 1,000 horsepower, fully deleted Z71 off-road, baby. Master, what do you think? A Silverado? I don't know. My one knock on Chevy is they haven't gotten into the, or GM hasn't gotten really into the hasn't gotten into the like the supercharged truck battle, you know. It's Ram and Ford only, really. I guess you could say, Tony, I got to get something going, man. I'm revamping some strategy over there, Tony. So I'll get it going. I've been really busy with Jacob, dude. Philly Don, did you see I got you got Big James's thing that I just knocked over, by the way. Oh, this is a note from Sasha got me this thing. What do you write? There's a nice note from my boy Sasha. Fucking Sasha writing me a Z note. How's that? How's that? A Z note from Sasha. We got a great supporter base here. We really do. I really appreciate everybody. It's pretty cool. That's why I laugh when goobers like this morning come in and they try and shit on everything we are and your company. What did he say? You're built on what did he say? What was the word he used today? We're built on manipulation. What was it? I don't even remember. I'm like, what? We got a great community here, man. Not everybody likes us. Not everybody's going to like us, but that's all right. That's all right. Ethan, I think you're the one writing the fucking love stories with the goofy ass emojis, Ethan. Take a lap, kid. Come on, man. Diesel twin. Oh, it's a diesel. That's right. They got the diesel twin turbo. Yeah, manipulative tendencies. I'm like, I don't really think so, dude. I think we just talk about the Eagles like all day, every day. And people love that because they're Eagles fans. Come on, man. Let's make a bet for the hat you're wearing. I put a lot of sweat through this thing, dude. I don't know if I really don't know if you want this thing. It's an awesome hat, though. I do have another one, actually, just like it. Yeah, I don't like this one as much. You can tell because I never wear it. These were a gift. My beautiful girl actually got these custom made for me because these are the McMullen hats. They're really good. They're really expensive, though. And if I'm spending a lot of money on a hat, it's a Kango. But this is the tan one. It's like tan, I guess you could say. I don't know. Look, my nephew was wearing it. You can tell. Look at the sizing. I need big. I got big head. I got a big noggin. So, yeah. Facts, Dirty Air. I wore this thing to the NASCAR. Dirty Air, good night, bro. Hope your kids sleep well. Thank you, bro. It smells like ZK Garage. ZK Garage smells good, bro. Come on, man. That 94 Sunoco Octane. Come on, man. 94 Octane Sunoco only in ZK's Garage. That's it. Big Mike, I had my first encounter with a Karen this weekend on the car. That was so funny. I was with my nephew, and he just kept wanting me to rev the engine. And this fucking bitch had the audacity to walk up to me. It's like 6:30 at night. It's not 9 o'clock. 6:30 at night. My 5-year-old nephew was still awake outside. He goes to bed at 7 o'clock. 6:30. She walks up from like half a mile away, and she's like, every time you rev your engine, it wakes up the baby. I'm like, I got a newborn in the house, my brother's daughter. She's 2 months, 3 months, or whatever she is, born in May. And I got my 5-year-old nephew. All right. I'm sorry that you don't like the exhaust sound, but you can go buy 50 acres in the middle of nowhere if you don't want to hear anything. All right. Because, guys, I got a stock exhaust on the car. It's loud and it's cool, but it's not like a headbanger. It's not like a whoop bang bang. I mean, come on, man. Karen rolling up. It was so I tried to be respectful because I was at my brother's house, not my neighbor, and I was just like, honey, I am not here to please you. All right. I'm not breaking any laws. I'm not, doing anything. I mean, come on, man. 6:30 at night. You're crying about a little cold start. I mean, come on. It's funny though. It's very funny. Yeah, the Corsa, Abe, she'll have her panties in a bind. Should have filmed. Big Mike, I had literally just got rid of the camera. It was funny. My neighbors are good, Ethan. They don't care at all. My one neighbor loves it. He walked over when I got the car. He's like, "Oh, I love your new car." I'm like, "Thanks, dude." He's got a big Yukon Denali, and then he's got a Ford Bronco, the big souped up Bronco. He ordered that thing when it came out. I remember when it got delivered to his house. He was like one of the first deliveries. He's cool. I got good neighbors. Actually, my one neighbor is a JAKIB guy. He listens to JAKIB. Yeah, he's literally right across the street. Former cop, former Philly cop, great dude. Yeah, he walks over and he always talks to me. So he's a JAKIB guy. He likes listening to JAKIB, big Eagles fan. So all good. I got a good, and I'm respectful, dude. I'm not the type of dude that wants to make people's lives harder. I really don't. I got no interest in that. I try and be respectful of the people around me. I think that's a big part of life is respect. But all right, everybody, I'm getting out of here. I've been on the air a lot today. All right, we were live this morning for about an hour and 40 minutes. I want to say it was. I don't remember exactly what it was. We had Cilio, we had this. So I'm getting out of here. You guys are getting a lot of me to start the season, and you better get used to it. Brian Bidding, I agree, my friend. Respect is everything. Yes, sir. No doubt about it. I only go to Sunoco, Abe. I'm a Sunoco guy at heart. All right. There is an online shop, JAKIBsports.com. All right, everybody. I got to fix that, by the way. I was supposed to do a bunch of work on that. I got completely sidetracked on my JAKIB shop this summer. Who can help me with it? Anybody want to do some work? I'll pay you. Who wants to do some work for JAKIB? I got to improve some shit on the back end, man. My problem these days is delegation. I got to get better at delegation. You know, I just do everything. I got such a grip on it. You know, it's hard to sometimes delegate, but I know it's one of my deficiencies. So I'll work on it. I appreciate all you guys. I love all you guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting. Thanks for all the things that you do, the likes, the comments, the shares, the subscribes, the super chats, the memberships, everything. I appreciate each and every one of you. And I'm going to catch you guys in the morning. We'll be live. 8 a.m. Birds 365, full show in the morning. So back to the normal schedule tomorrow. And then Thursday and Friday will be a nightcap again here on the show. Keith, love you, brother. Tony, appreciate you, man. Big Mike, Ethan, thanks, Ethan, even though you're goofy emoji tonight. Brian Bidding, Abe, love all you guys. Appreciate all you guys. Secunda, you know I love you, Secunda. All right? Despite our differences, you know I love you, Secunda. Master Eagle, Abe, love all you guys. And I will catch you in the morning. See you next time, everybody.
You've been listening to Birds 365, the destination for the passionate Eagles football fan who bleeds green. If it's Eagles football, we're talking about it. Debate inside the locker room and guests that are some of the greatest football minds from around the region. We hope you enjoyed the show. We know we had a blast. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, hook up with us on social media at JAKIB Sports. See you next time on Birds 365.